Hi there folks, Leon Faulkner, Senior Coach at Northern Beaches Golf Academy. Thanks for watching. Here with another lesson tutorial to help you with your golf, to help you understand a little more about the golf swing. I have a student of mine here who I've been seeing for roughly about a month or so now, and one of the areas that we've been working on more than any other particular part of his swing has definitely been the backswing. And I'm going to share with you what we've been working on and where he's come from and where we are today. Particularly the last couple of lessons we've made quite a bit of change, which is always very important. You know, even if it's not producing fantastic results straight away, it's just making that change initially. So I'll play this a couple of times for you now and let you have a look and give you a chance to actually have a look and see whether you think some of these positions are quite right or not, and then I'll talk to you about some of the areas that we've been working on with him, and I'll slow it down some for you. So we can see that he's not far off the swing plane itself. You know, the way that he's taking the club back, you can see that he's you know, definitely not too much on the inside, not too much on the outside. He's doing quite a good job actually in terms of swinging the club up and down on the right plane. But I'm going to bring him back to the start and going to let you know that the first error that he's making as he takes the club back. As he's taking the club back, he's got quite a lot of wrist rotation quite early as he's going back. So, you know, for some golfers, they won't have any wrist rotation at all, and they'll be stuck at the takeaway, which is this position right here, and their club face will be closed, and the club face itself will be pointing down towards the ground, and the palm of the right hand will be down towards the ground. And then in some cases, particularly this case here, there's been quite a lot of movement with the wrists quite early in the swing, and what's happening is the club face is really opening up too much, and then by the time he's getting to the top of the backswing here, he's losing control of where the club head is, and you can see that's well on the outside of where his hands are positioned, which makes it very hard for him to be able to control the club and bring the club back into impact. So the sort of shots that he was hitting, he was really hitting the ground a lot first, but more so a lot with the heel of the club, really digging the hosel down and hitting a lot of shots that just spin straight off to the right, just because he wasn't able to get the club face square. So, you know, he doesn't make quite the right turn yet through the ball and sits into it and drops, has too much knee bend, and then as a result loses a lot of space, but hitting a lot of shots straight off to the right. You can sort of just see the shadow of the ball taking off there. So felt like he was putting in a lot of effort trying to hit the ball really hard, because he really could only rely on the power of his arms, but getting very ordinary contact, and as I said, just every ball was just either topping it or it was going straight off to the right if he actually got some of the club face onto the ball. So because of the way he was taking the club back, just losing control instantly, a lot of fanning open, a lot of wrist rotation, club head's too much on the outside of the hands there, in more of a too laid off position, and then sort of dropping and squatting into it and just making it very hard to get the club face back to square. So we'll take you now to where he is today, and I'll play this a couple of times for you. Now the downswing we're yet to do a bit of work on. This has really just been about the backswing, but it's been the last 2 half-hour lessons that we've made all of this change, and now you'll see that he's actually more on the inside of the plane as he's going back. More importantly, as he's taking the club back, you can see his hands are a lot more passive. There's not as much wrist rotation, so he's maintaining a lot more control. He feels like that he's keeping the club head a lot more on the outside of his hands sort of working a bit more inside, not as much rotation with the wrists. That way he can keep the club head more in line with his chest, and you can see there that the shaft is parallel with the line on his feet, and then he's able to set the club a lot better at the top. And now we can see here that, again, just like the takeaway, the shaft angle is a lot more parallel with the line of his feet. He's got a lot more control of the club head, so he feels like he's just keeping the club a lot more inside and then setting it into position at the top. So we'll bring him back to where he was in the same position before, and you can see there, club head way on the outside in a very vulnerable position. Now a lot more set where it needs to be, and the shaft angle's a lot better there at the top as opposed to being here very late off. Now a lot more on the right path. And so now as he's bringing that club down, it's not such a fight for him. You can see he's still swinging the club on a nice path there, parallel with that plane, but we're actually getting some compression with the ball, and you can even see there as that ball's taking off. This one here, he just tugged it a bit left because we've still got to work on getting him through the ball, but I mean, his contact's just loads better. You know, he actually can feel what it's like to compress the golf ball now, and he's got a good understanding about what happens at impact and how the club head comes down and compresses on the ball first and then makes the divot after the ball's gone. So if I just play this for you now in full motion, as I said, we just got to work on now getting him through the ball, but those positions there as he's taking the club back, a lot stronger, producing a lot more consistent contact, and if anything now he just tends to hit the ball a little left. As I said, we just got to get him working through the ball better, but there's been big change, and as I've always said in my tutorials, that's what's most important. Instead of hitting these weak slices out to the right that are literally going half the distance of what he is now he's compressing the ball. The miss is going a bit to the left, but that's okay because we can get him through the ball better. But we've had to make quite a bit of change to be able to get him now compressing the golf ball, hitting the ball as he should. So again, before, outward, taking the club back, a lot of wrist rotation, club face well open, a lot harder to get back to square at impact. Now feeling like more inside, taking the club back, watching that the wrists aren't rotating too much, club face a lot more square at the top of the swing. So for now it's just about getting him to the point where he doesn't have to focus really so much on where the club's going as he takes it back. Bit of practice making that natural, and then we're going to be able to place a lot more focus then on just getting through the ball, and he's not going to have so many things to think about. But he's now, the good thing, he's really feeling what impact can feel like when he strikes the ball well, and we've got him working off the grass as well, so that he can get a bit of feedback by his divots as to whether the club face is coming through square or if it's coming through open. It's always good to make sure that you do combine your practice between grass and mat. The mats are easier to hit off, and you don't really get the right feedback that you're after hitting too much off the mats. But we're going to do a bit of work on his downswing now and get him through the ball so they can hit all the rest of the clubs a lot more solid, get him right up into the driver. Hope it helps. Thanks for watching.